contentment in my Father's house today. Lots of food is on his table, and no one is turned away. There is singing and laughter as the hours pass by, but a hush comes the singing as the Father sadly cries.
A splendid Wednesday evening to us all. Amen. It has been a splendid past 2 days as we have been learning more about nutrition and health. The title of our theme being In Sync with the Maker. In Sync with the Maker. A biblical and scientific exposition about nutrition and health. We have been delving in death in the pot, and people have remodeled Tuesday's topic to life in the pot. I don't know what today you're expecting. But as you can see, the title is saying a yo-yo diet or yo-yo dieting. Let us read a text, Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 22. It says, "Is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there? Why then has not the health of the daughter of my people been restored?" This is a question or a series of questions, actually 3, that Jeremiah is asking. But they seem to be somewhat rhetorical, because we know that Gilead was a place where the Israelites used to stay. Actually, they say there was a tree called a balsam tree, which was only found in Gilead. And this tree was known of various therapeutic properties, such that if you take it, your health will be better. So Jeremiah, when he is asking this question, he's kind of confused that we are in the vicinity where we have a great herb in our midst. But why then is our health not restored? Maybe the issue is there is no physician. So all these questions, he just utters them, but no one, even himself, does not respond to them. But if we look even today, we realize that a similar question is also now being asked. Yesterday, we were talking about the innovations or the inventions that mankind is doing. But however, amidst all that inventions, there remains many perplexing things. Actually, do you know that most of the diseases, we don't even know how they come to be? Do you know that? I mean, if you come here and you start to say diabetes is caused by this and this, learned people will say, sit down. Because that's not it. How are you together? Because we are yet to understand that complex intricacy of how that disease comes to be. So a majority of the things we do not know. But while we do not know, we already have strategies of trying to remedy them. I'm not saying we are totally doomed. We have some ray of light, but we are working towards there. But our knowledge is not yet full. So we can still ask these questions. Is there no balm in our days? Hello? Is there no balm in South Africa? Is there no balm or even a physician in South Africa? So why isn't our health being restored? So as we are looking in that theme of today, yo-yo dieting, we actually realize that when it comes to diets, there are now many people who have a lot to say. I mean, we all want to lose weight and as fast as we can. And you can see the diets range from that corner to the other corner, such that you yourself might even be confused. I just went on Google today and just started typing to search the diets that can make one lose weight fast. So there's a first one there, I think you are seeing it, which says lose 10 kgs in how many days? In 10 days. Hey. So literally you're losing a kg every day. Maybe that might not be interesting. Someone actually goes on to say how to burn fat faster. Some fat burning tips. Or another one says no exercise, no diet, lose belly fat in 6 days. 100% effective. Do you know how they sugarcoat it? Natural remedy. Wow. Then you're like, this is what I will eat. And if you can look into it, it's almost like it's a pot that is being boiled and there are lemons inside. And the person is even switching their tummy to actually say, I'm burning fat. But is it really true? Another one even comes in to say bedtime drink to lose belly fat in a week. It seems many people want to lose this belly fat. Such that, there are diets out there. But it's not only diets. I mean, if you type the word just to search for diet apps, that's the search that I was doing, diet apps, applications on our phones. Most people have now smartphones, is it? Communication is actually going very fast. And most people can connect to each other via WhatsApp or Facebook or whatever. But there are also diet apps just to remind you today you need to eat that and that. So I just searched just to take stock how many are out there. So I didn't even go to look at the number because I was already astounded when I was at page 10 of scrolling. Then I was told that there is 2 trillion results that you have yet to look into. Then I'm like, how can I get into 2 trillion results? That's way beyond our comprehension. But this just takes into account that people are really interested in how they can lose weight. People are really interested in how they can really even eat well and enjoy life to the optimum or to the best that they can be. But still, it seems, if we have 2 trillion, that just brings something into mind. Hello. If there was something that really worked, maybe we only needed 1. We wouldn't even need 2 trillion. So it's not only that. Just check how people are even advertising. So people are even advertising a lot to the point that, they want you really to actually get into these lifestyles. And they want you to be eager to follow these things. So they are not only putting them out there, but they are even wanting to make sure that you get hold of them. So you see that, we are being bombarded by many things. So there's actually, many even health shows that happen, talk shows, where people come and say their testimonies that, lo and behold, see, I've lost all this weight. And they even explain, maybe you need to fast maybe 2 or 3 days. Then after you've fasted 2 or 3 days, then you eat this and that. Like what we see this woman is explaining up there.
Today, the 10-day belly slim down. It's a rapid plan that will flatten and de-bloat your midsection right here. Deprivation not included. Let's go through the plan specifically. The first thing is you got to eliminate what you call the 10 belly bloater foods, which we've listed up here.
Yes, and so these are important, and it may seem not to make sense at first, but it will as we explain them. Beans, alcohol, dairy, gluten, high salt foods, artificial sweeteners, soft drinks, sugar, and even some of those high sugar fruits.
All right, so now you're getting rid of these foods. For the next 10 days, we're going to show you the foods to eat. But there's a secret you have that's really important.
Secret weapon.
You have a 7-hour window you're giving us to eat. 7 hours. It's your number one biggest secret.
It is. See, here's what science is telling us. This is all science. That when we condense our food into a certain period of time, we really heighten that fat burning.
All right, so for those 7 hours, here's what you're going to eat. For breakfast, you can do something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Bone broth.
Bone broth.
You've been talking about bone broth in different ways, but this is actually a foundation of the mornings in your plan.
It is, and here's why. Because one of the things that I found out is that when your body gets what it needs, it's not always looking for something else. And bone broth is a way for you to get virtually no carbs, low calorie, lots of nutrition, and it's so easy and it's inexpensive to make, and that's why I love it so much. It's like a meal in a mug.
So for the folks out there who are objecting vehemently now because they want a breakfast type food, you have something else. You have coffee bone broth.
I do. So here's a little great trick for beef bone broth. Add a little espresso powder in there for a little extra kick. People love this. It's absolutely delicious. One of my favorite things in the morning.
Do people really love this?
They do. All these thousands and they do.
Let's find out
all
if they
these
love it.
thousands of people wouldn't be on it if they didn't.
All right, so you guys have been trying your coffee bone broth. I want some honest thoughts here.
I think it's delicious. It's great for in the morning.
And what do you like the most about it?
It does have a beef undertone, so I do taste that, and the caffeine as well.
So a hint of beef, but I can't even taste the caffeine. You get it?
I taste it at the end.
What do you?
I like that it's warm and comforting.
You like different things. It's fantastic. Happy customers? You all happy?
Yes.
I get they're in. They like it. Now, for lunch and for dinner, you have slim-gestion foods. These are foods that you can get away with and won't make you feel hungry the rest of the day. So walk us through what you have for lunch.
Okay, so for lunch, one of my favorite things with these slim-gestion foods is smoothies and shakes are wonderful. This one is great. It's a matcha powder smoothie. It's great. And you can see here, you put a little bit of vegetables in there. You put some coconut milk in there, some ice, and if you want a little sweetener, some stevia, a monk fruit, and of course the maca powder. It's really great. And so it keeps you really full for a long period of time. And all of these foods, the slim gesture, what that means, it's reducing inflammation in your body.
Which one would you pick? The bone broth or the, what would you call this?
This is the coconut matcha.
Coconut matcha.
Coconut matcha.
Look at the smile on her face. There's a happy customer. I think they're both fantastic.
Yeah, and
I'm so
they actually keep you full.
And this is your dinner?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You have bone broth if you want to snack.
You can have, so if you want to snack anytime, it's always on your plate. It's always go for bone broth. And you can even put some vegetables in bone broth and make it a soup.
And then this is dinner, which is typical.
Oh, yes. So here's the whole point. We have chicken, we have tomato basil stacks, we've got a little oil drizzle on here. Here's what you want to get. Your meals, your slim gesture meals, have to have a really nice protein, a vegetable, and a healthy fat. That all helps us burn fat.
Right. So that was a talk show. I mean, people being even allowed to taste the foods, eh? And people saying it tastes so nice, and there are many names, mancha, bone broth. Hey, so even if you have seen this food, see you now running to the supermarket, I need to look for this bone broth. I've been told that it burns fat so quickly. But the reality is, people are not telling the truth. Hello? In essence, if we look into research, 95% of all the diets fail. Hello? 95% of all the diets, what? Fail. So what happens is you lose weight, yes, because you want to lose weight. You are eager, hello? But this is only for about a period of 6 months. But after 6 months, they've actually realized that you start to regain the what? The weight. And what's so saddening is you can even gain weight to be more than what you used to weigh before you started dieting. So it's now almost like a yo-yo. Hello? You lose weight, you regain it. You lose weight, you regain it. You lose weight, you what? You regain it. And you see, that will even come now with frustration. Because if someone comes with a new diet, you have tried it before. You have tried this and this. There are many diets that you have tried. And that even leads to what? To some heartbreak. But is it only the adverse effects that we see? Let's listen to this one.
Well, we've all been there. You lose a few pounds, and then before you know it, the weight starts creeping back on.
But it's more than just frustrating. New research shows yo-yo dieting, as they call it, can be life-threatening. CBS 2's Jessica Moore now with the new warning from doctors and why it's so hard to keep the weight off.
Tasha Hawkins knows the struggle to maintain weight loss all too well.
One time I lost a total of like 60 pounds. And then I just got relaxed. So sometimes I'd be stressed and gained it all back again.
And she's not alone.
I lose like 7, 10 pounds, and then I then gain like 12, 13.
And when you actually feel comfortable, then you let yourself go again.
And their stories aren't unique. Doctors say more than half of dieters gain back all the weight they've lost, sometimes more. And according to a new study, that's when the real trouble begins. Researchers at NYU looked at yo-yo dieters with a history of heart disease. People who lost and gained as little as 10 pounds had a 78% higher risk of developing diabetes. Heart attack increased by 117%. Stroke risk skyrocketed 136%. And yo-yo dieters had a 124% increased risk of dying.
I think they are absolutely staggering.
So what's a dieter to do? Is it better to stay fat than risk yo-yo dieting? We asked cardiologist Dr. Rachel Bond.
No, it's not better to be fat. It's never better to be fat.
Dr. Bond says chronic dieting wrecks your metabolism, making it easier to gain weight and more difficult to lose it.
The reason that they do the diet is for a particular, either it be a wedding or a social gathering, as opposed to saying, oh, I want to make a lifestyle change.
The study showed a connection, but not a cause, between yo-yo dieting and heart health. Dr. Bond says, bottom line, we can and should control the yo-yo variable.
We should be a normal weight, just in general, and we should try to keep that normal weight for the rest of our life.
But as any dieter knows, that's much easier said than done. Jessica Moore, CBS 2 News.
And Dr. Bond stressed what we've all heard many times. Low-fat diet and exercise are the keys to reaching and maintaining your ideal body weight. But she also said it's important to eat the foods you crave, but in moderation.
So Pizza Fridays.
That's right. Just a slice. That's going to do it for the news at 5. We'll see you again at 11.
The news at 6 starts right now.
Right. So what figures did we pick up? I mean, those people who lose weight and regain it, what risk do they have of developing diabetes? 70 what? 78, around 78%, is it? What about heart attack? Hello? All right, what about chances of dying? 100 something. Eh? But anyway, they then go to qualify. I mean, this is quite good to understand. They said we are not saying it causes, but we are saying it is what? Associated. Maybe the good way to explain it is like this. Have you ever realized that if it rains, everyone will rush to come with an umbrella? So we can associate rain and what? And umbrellas. So it means there's a relationship. Hello? That when it rains, we all want umbrellas to cover us. So, but what it means for us, since we do not know things in detail and we are still figuring it out, it just gives us a hint that therefore this yo-yo dieting might be actually a what? A risk. So what therefore it means, it makes the story again puzzling, which brings us again to Jeremiah's sentiments or cries that is there no balm in what? In Gilead. Because I think it's common sense that we need to lose weight. I mean, it's not common sense. It's actually what we should do. But the whole challenge now is there are many suggestions. And because of these many suggestions and different types of diets, we are finding ourselves in a scenario where we lose weight for some time, but again regain it. But not only that, we then find ourselves in a scenario where we are plagued with shame and guilt. So that when you look in the fridge, when you see the cakes, like as that woman is looking at, I mean, then you look at the vegetables again. You know, every time you think about eating, it's now a dilemma. You are now in your own prison. Because the moment you just eat a cake, you're now thinking, I'm going to gain what? Weight. The moment you look at these veggies, you're like, they are not so nice. I mean, I'm depriving myself of sweetness. So shame and guilt will plague you, because one day you're going to binge on these cakes. Then you feel so guilty. Then that shame drives you again to those vegetables. So as we're going to see, that's also a psychological effect that we need to be wary of. But let's get time to really explain what is really happening. So what you realize is initially, there's actually a cycle then. So when you are dieting, you have been motivated. Maybe you've come to this health week. You're like, no, I want to change my life. You know, I'll feel better. It's true. Everything that you desire, those are good goals. But as you're doing that, you now restrict your diet, is it? Because you have such a panic. So some even go to those drastic measures. I think you have seen even ladies who move around, with juices of be it some herbs or some lemons, and daily they are only drinking that. That's their food for the whole day, because they really want to lose weight. And maybe hubby there at home is saying, you know, when I married you, you were not like this. Hello. And I don't know where this shape is coming from. And maybe your husband is even showing you your picture. See, honey, how you were beautiful here. Can't we go back here? Then you say, indeed, I need to save my marriage. Then you are now moving the day with a glass just of lemon and water. And while you are doing it, really, you lose what? Weight. But what's also happening is you will get tired along the way. Because this is not something that you normally used to what? To do. And while you are doing that because you are depriving yourself, those cravings start to what? To come up again. Because you cannot survive just drinking lemon water, hello? Or drinking some cabbages once in a while. You can't. I mean, you miss those sweet things. Eh? So when those cravings come a bit, then you tell yourself, you know how you get out? It's only for today. I'll go back to my routine. Eh? But today becomes tomorrow, and tomorrow becomes another day. Until you now find yourself, wow, you've returned to your former what? Habits. While you're returning to your former habits, you hear again that habit giving you a frown. This is not really working. Huh? But have you ever realized even when you lose weight, you might lose 10 kgs. Then maybe what only changes is only maybe you feel like your clothes are now becoming a little bit loose. But nothing much has physically changed. But for you, 10 kgs, yeah, that's a good milestone. Yeah? So then you are now told, I think you should try again. Yeah? So now, because of this overeating that you were doing to cover up, shame and guilt comes in again. Then you now have another new determination that, no, it was only that day. That cake was the only temptation. So I'll make sure now there are no cakes in my home. Hello? I'll make sure that my fridge is only full of healthy foodstuffs. But what you do not know, that this is actually a what? A cycle. So you are going to see yourself always going on a diet, depriving yourself, losing weight. You end the diet because of a function or a party. You put weight back on. You feel miserable and heavy again. You go on a what? On a diet. So you are in a vicious what? Cycle. And you can even find that you are almost now trapped in your what? In your body. And do you even realize that, sometimes we only speak that people are big or whatever, but we don't even take to understand what's going through their minds. Hello? Most of them don't even like those bodies. Huh? But they are now trapped. They are trying. Actually, studies say that most people who are overweight really want to lose weight. But it seems these quick fixes are not the answer. And they find themselves trapped in this cycle. And lo and behold, the husband keeps putting on pressure, be it the workmates, or even let's say you go for a function. People even they even like things that they give you these days to tie the stomach in, such that at least you can actually have good shape. But it gets a point in time where you are now tired of all these things. Hello? You are tired of pretending. You just want people to love you for who you are. You are. But daily when you watch these images, which are even photoshopped, hello, you blame yourself and you don't realize that really you just need to take it easy. You don't need to be hard on your what? On yourself. So what are the characteristics of yo-yo diets? So yo-yo diets are just short term. It's when you have that pressure or that edge, I need to lose what? Weight very quickly. They also are lacking in food choices. They're so limited. You can't live on cabbages. You can't live on juices. And your main focus is just that scale. Huh? Ideally, do you know that if you want to lose weight, you should not be measuring yourself daily because you don't lose weight daily. You actually lose the weight after a week. But some of us now think it's fashionable that in the bathroom there should be the scale. Maybe we want to go on the scale while these people are not looking at us. But still, we are just putting much pressure and anxiety on ourselves. And that pressure is not even doing us any good. So we actually see in the end that there is no longer any life balance. But what is good is that it did not take a day for you to gain that weight. Hello? Because it did not take a day, it will also not take a day for you to lose what? Weight. So what's required is something that is sustainable. Something that is not just too drastic. A lifestyle that you change one step at a what? At a time. As you get used to it, it becomes part of your lifestyle. Something that you even on your own can sustain. Hello. Most people think that to be healthy, they need to pump out too much money. But now if your salary or your source of income is not also growing, that is not what? Sustainable. So the issue here is we need to make choices that are in sync with our resources. choices that we can sustain, and you would realize that little by little, day by day, that weight is going to be what? To be shed off. And we will also not be even worried. So what does it mean? It means we need to be flexible with food and lifestyle choices. Hello. It doesn't matter, maybe it's just, I know in our cultures, we have this theme that relationships are sealed by what? By food. So there you go, it's a wedding of a friend. Then you with your dieting tips are saying, hey, this cake again. You're now even worried. No, just take a small piece and eat. It's only that day that you have eaten that what? That cake. Celebrate with everyone. Have you ever realized these people who are always constantly worried about what they are eating? They even go to the point that it's fine to read labels. But if you now become so much obsessed about everything, you want to know what you are eating, how it is, it's even negatively impacting you psychologically. And as we are going to see, it can actually become worse if you are not controlled. Let me even put it more practically. Some of us might even have reformed or become health reformers. But we are also now in this trap whereby we no longer are so too rigid, and our rigidity is not even practical because we are not able to sustain those lifestyles. We hear someone who says, I only take olive oil. Hello? Yes, it's fine. Olive oil is nutritious. But do you have the finances to pump it up, to make sure that you can sustain that lifestyle? No, me, I eat foods only from Woolworths. Okay, fair and fine. If you have the pocket, do so. But it doesn't mean that he or she who's not eating from Woolworths is not eating what? Healthy. The whole idea is, what are you eating? Is it sustainable? Is it nutritious? So let's make choices that are actually in line with our resources and choices that we can actually sustain. The other thing that we need even to celebrate even with small wins. You lose even half a kg in a week. Celebrate. Why do you put too much pressure on yourself? Do you think you are actually gaining 2 kgs a day? You are not gaining 2 kgs a day. Hello? Do you actually realize that it's only one day when you're actually wearing that trousers? Then you realize, no, I can't even put a button here. But you're not seeing it, that you're gaining weight. So why is it now that you have too much pressure on yourself that it should fit, because I've been doing this diet? No, it will not fit. Take it easy and enjoy the journey. Right, so as we are looking in this story, if you see in that spectrum, you'd realize that if really we don't put brakes on ourselves, we can really mess ourselves up. So this idea that you are restricting yourself so much, it's actually an eating disorder. Hello. It's an eating disorder. So in as much as there are many psychological issues, this is one of the great psychological issues that is related to eating. Whereby even when you feel that you are hungry, you act as if you are not hungry. Then you are even in a scenario whereby your food regulates, like anything. If food just becomes the issue, your mood suddenly changes. Let's say you are talking at a family, you are enjoying. The moment they just now bring food, your mood has actually changed. Because you are now seeing Coca-Cola, you're now seeing all these food stuffs, and you remember, I am on a diet. So you now cannot in sync with other people. Or sometimes you even do the contrary, whereby you have been depriving yourselves. Have you ever realized how people do it when they go on a fast? So in the morning they don't eat, in the afternoon they don't eat, in the evening they don't eat. But somewhere there, they're telling people at home, keep my morning food, keep my lunch food, keep my my supper food. Because when they come in the evening, they need to deal with it seriously. Hello. So, but you actually see that is a psychological issue. Because the whole idea is, why are you lying to yourselves? You want to eat food. And you actually, in essence, you do not want to miss a single meal. That's why you're telling them to keep that meal. But you go throughout the day telling yourself that you are fasting when you are not fasting, because you are thinking, when is this fast going to end? Then I can start this business. So we need also to be realistic. People lie to us. that, especially when you hear someone says, if you eat this food, it's going to make you lose fat in the tummy. Hello. Have you ever realized that our body shapes are actually unique and different? Our body shapes, we don't generate them. Hello? We are just granted them by our parents. That's why some gain more weight here, some gain more weight in the hips. Some people gain weight at various positions. But that's something that's genetically driven. But now we are coming and say, this food will remove fat there and there. Hello? Does it even have eyes? Remember we said yesterday, when you eat food, hello, the stomach does not have eyes. The stomach does not even know. It's you who knows that this is honey. But the stomach or the intestines only know the nutrients in the what? In the honey. So when you're talking about absorption, hello, I think most of you eat the intestines, of animals, is it? It's more like a fibrous carpet, eh? Is there any eyes there? There is no eyes there. But that's where the nutrients are being what? Absorbed. So it is you who knows what food it is. But here we are sitting and lying to each other. That's this, that's what. No, come on. The body is the one that just starts losing weight. Are we together? Shedding excess weight, whether we are restricting ourselves or not. But we cannot point that fat should be removed from there, unless we do what? Surgery, cosmetic surgery. Cosmetic surgery, that's the one that can actually look and say we want to remove fat from there and there and there and there. But I think that's also a problem, because it speaks that we also have a negative body what? Image. Because we are now wired that maybe the shape of a woman is this. Eh? Anything that is not that is not a what? A woman. But are we God who should actually make such a deduction? Who is he or who is she who is impounding that image upon us? And as we are talking, this might seem so light, but if you look to teenagers and adolescents, body image, it's a serious issue. Hello? How people perceive them, they are so much glued into how people value them. But we need to change that, because it leads to psychological eating what? Disorders. Then there are those who have firm dietary rules. So rigid. And even our health reformers fall short of this. I know, as we're going to discuss later, if we read in our writings of Ellen White, she says 2 meals are better than what? Than 3. Oh, you have not read that side. Okay. She says 2 meals are better than what? Than 3. But Ellen White was so balanced, but she says in some cases a 3rd meal is what? Is required. So you say, no, actually if you eat 2 meals, you become more religious. Eh? But if we eat 3, I think we are that weakling. So me, regardless of how my body shape is, I'm just going to continue to eat what? 2 meals. Do you ever realize that as Ellen White was writing her writings, she was even cognizant of the different tastes and preferences that people have? No wonder she says no man can be what? A criterion for another. Because one person distests these foods, but the other likes that. For instance, Ellen White could not even handle beads. And she was not, but she didn't discourage people, but she herself could not handle them. So we realize that we don't need to be so rigid. We need to be what? Practical. So let's say you are the 2 meal eater. It so happens that you are so busy at work. You ate only the morning meal at home. But you are supposed to eat your 2nd meal around 3. But you are so busy such that 3 passes. Then lo and behold, you say, I'm not eating, I'll eat tomorrow. Because 3 p.m. is what? Has passed. That is so sad. Because what it means is, yes, you are so busy, but you are depriving your body of what it needs. No wonder it's so a shame that most of the times health reform is now being associated with being very thin. But being very thin, as we are going to see, might not actually mean that you are healthy, but actually just imply you are too rigid sometimes and not practical. And what you are doing is just even tormenting your body unnecessarily, something that doesn't give glory to what? To God. So in the extreme, with thinness, we're talking a lot about being big, but there's also an issue about wanting to be thin. There are diseases that we call anorexia nervosa, or bulimia nervosa, or binge eating disorders. These are disorders that are actually common in people who are obsessed to be sick. if you look statistics in the UK, they say that there are about 1.25 million people who actually have these eating disorders. And it's not only a male or a female thing, even 25% of the men have actually been shown to be that. People who just want to be very thin. And even many of the models that we so cherish and so admire, some of them do not have eating habits that are so nice because they want to keep that shape because it is the one that is bringing the dollars. But as we look further, it might bring the dollars, but it can actually compromise the health. Just look at that picture of that woman, how slim she is. And this person is actually an anorexia nervosa. So these people refuse to eat. They have a fear of gaining weight, that fear of gaining weight. So it's just like you who has that bathroom scale in your, in your bathroom. And every day you are so rigid that I don't want to get even a 0.5 of kg. Beware. Beware. If you become that rigid, you will slide slowly into these scenarios. So these are the people who they now say, come fire by force, I'm going to lose what? Weight. And they keep on losing it and losing it, and it even gets into their what? Their mind. To the point they are now very, very emaciated. And not only that, they say that these people even now have low blood pressure. These people even get to the point where they have irregular heartbeats. So problems of the heart just by dieting. These people even get to the point that if they are females, they lack menstrual cycle. The menstrual cycle is even affected just by losing too much severe weight. And also, do you know what happens? Like in the past, in the times when HIV came into play, we were so scared because we could quickly think that, you know, HIV makes you lose too much weight, and because you're losing too much weight, then you're going to what? To die quickly. But what meant is when you lose too much weight, it also severely affects your what? Your immune system. So it means you are now susceptible to other infections. So you only started with, I want to eat well. I like this body shape, but see slowly where you are really going. So the question of Jeremiah comes again. Is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there? Why is the health of my daughter not restored? So you actually realize, yes, the other day, life in the pot, as you have coined it, we're talking about the inventions of men. But the Bible says God created men what? Upright. But men went and sought many what? Inventions. So we are now realizing, actually many people are realizing that dieting might actually be a proxy or a sign of other diseases that are yet to come. So it means we need also to relook there. I think it's high time we now go back to the Creator and ask Him, how should we eat? Because of all these varied options that are being displayed to us, we see there is another side that we are not being told, that all these diets do not work. So as the theme of the week is saying, in sync with the Maker, it's high time we come to Him and ask how He can show us the paths to eat well. And as we see in our last verse, our closing verse for today, it's found in Matthew 11, verse 28 to 30. It says, come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you what? Rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is what? Is light. So God is saying, I am the answer. Hello? I mean, we sing this song, Jesus is the answer. But most of times you only think Jesus is the answer for salvation issues. But Christ then says, if you read in the Bible, they say there is nothing that was made which was not made by what? By Him. So indeed, Jesus is the answer of everything. Hello. Do you know even diet did not start with men? It started with what? With God. So He is the answer. So it is my motivation that we keep coming to these days as we learn more about health. So today we have actually reflected on the other side, and tomorrow we'll start tapping into what God desires us to eat, such that we can see its value and its benefit. May God continually to benefit us, and may God inspire us not to lose hope, but to see hope in Him, because He is the answer. Let us rise and close in prayer. Eternal Father, we come before your throne of grace, exclaiming as what Jeremiah has said, that really is there no balm in Gilead. But in essence, we know you are the balm of Gilead. Jeremiah asks another question and says, is there no physician there? In reality, you are the great physician. So Lord, when all is said and done, when all we as human beings are trying to craft and enact is just coming to nothing, where we end, that is where you begin, Lord. Lord, allow us to understand the reality of these issues, such that we do not constantly be trapped by the things that are flowing in the world. But Lord, grant us that spirit of discernment, such that we can hear your voice in a manner that is unique, such that when we have lived these lifestyle principles that you, God, have created, we can shout with joy, rejoice, and spread them to many, because this is the great need of the time. Lord, many people want to be healthy, but we are forgetting you because you are our maker. Lord, we are grateful that we understand that you are our creator and being. And we are so delighted that as we continue to learn, your way is going to become clearer. Lord, bless us as we're going to depart today, and bless us, even the viewers who will be viewing this program online. In Jesus' mighty name I've prayed. Amen.